Brussels sprouts and cauliflower, onion, fennel and cucumber, plum, pear and papaya, aubergine and saya, lime, lentils and quinoa, oatmeal bread and oatmeal flour, watercress and okra, tofu and sweet pepper.
Oh my gosh. Never have I ever seen anything like this. So when I first uploaded this video from Vegan Gains, where I talked about like what I think is going to happen with his channel, I had no idea what has happened recently. And I made this very neutral video about his channel. And what happened? It got the most amount of attention I've got on a video in a short period of time ever. Never ever have I seen this happen. And the thing is, I didn't know about his recent comment on that one video. So allow me to dissect, look at it, and I'll tell you what I think.
Well, your son's a piece of fucking shit just like you, asshole. Yeah, there he is, fucking torturing animals. Yeah, putting a hook through a fish's mouth. Yeah, hopefully he dies of a heart attack soon, too. Yeah, I'm sure he got COVID from you. I'm sure he eats like shit, just like his dad, so yeah, hopefully that piece of crap also fucking dies in his sleep.
Keep in mind, and I'm used to Vegan Gains, and I'm used to looking at other people who have dark humor. And first thing that comes to mind is, was that it? I can think of 1,000 more things that is worse, and don't get me wrong, I get it. Saying something like this is definitely too far. Hands down, it's too far. I admit, it's too far. The question becomes, is it so far that you have to silence him? Well, if I dissect what he did, he didn't threaten the kid. He didn't say it aggressively. He just came out with wishful thinking, so to speak. And allow me to elaborate a little bit more on that part. We all have violent thoughts once in a while, though the difference with Vegan Gains is he say them out loud. There's a few things to look at when it comes to him. I know that he got pedophobia, not an excuse. He might also have some type of autism. Still not an excuse, it's just an explanation. So he's more likely to just say things right out without keeping it to himself. And that's basically the biggest difference between the two. Personally, I have big violent thoughts sometimes. The time where I really feel like these violent thoughts are coming out is basically when I'm in argument with carnists out there who just refuse to realize that what I'm saying is totally logical and their argument doesn't make any sense. Imagine this thing where the discussion looks something like this. I am basically holding someone down on a floor with spiky floor full of marbles, and I'm keep punching their face till it's full of blood and they still refuse to admit that I have the upper hand. And these are only thoughts. And the difference between me and Vegan Gains is that I don't say those thoughts out loud to people. But if I dissect the incident where he said this about his kid, it's like if you ask if it's right or wrong, well, obviously morals are subjective, which is a huge thing, and the biggest reason, why we should have freedom of speech is so that people can talk about this, so that okay, people can criticize what he says, he can criticize back, and then maybe we will after a while have a mutual understanding of how we want things to be. The reason why I think it was wrong that he said what he said is because I don't think it's very effective. That is the main reason. It might appeal to some people, but as we see now, a lot of people want to silence him, which I see as even worse, actually. But another thing is that there's indoctrination in the picture. I am a very bad example of this because I always criticized my family's practices when it comes to hunting and hobby fishing. Though I don't think this kid realized that what he's doing is wrong, because people are even thought that fish don't have pain. People keep bringing up these videos from Vegan Gains where he says and does things that people don't like. And I'm gonna show you one of those videos, and the first one, honestly, it was a bad thing.
Repsion's a little fucking bitch. If I had the opportunity, I'd kill him. Slit his fucking throat with this knife. Really like to use this knife on him. Like, he really does deserve to die. Like, he's such a smug little bitch. I'd love to just slide a knife right across his throat and just watch him, like, just look all scared when, you know, he's just dying.
Now that is the only time there has been like an honest death threat. He has explained what this was all about, and it was on, I think it was on Twitch, and it wasn't supposed to be staying on the net, and he tried to get his channel terminated. But the thing is, he has gotten back to Repsion, they've talked out things, and seemingly they're friends now. So this is a case that has been resolved. So why people keep bringing it up, I don't know. Now let's look at some other videos.
Whining like a bitch.
Fucker's trying to just run away with me.
Vegan gains.
Told you to fuck off! So it's a good opportunity to try and kill me, so if you think you have the fucking guts, come to the fucking Toronto Veg Fest! And I'll be dead fucking serious. I'm a sadist. I enjoy hurting people. When I just beat the ever-living shit out of somebody, I get a warm, tingly feeling inside like I'm being loved. So don't get on my bad side, make some vegan gains, and be nice to animals or I'll kill you. So the only use I can see getting out of you is cutting your fucking skin off and turning you into my new fucking wallet!
Now keep in mind those videos. They are obviously dark humor. He don't actually mean that it's going to kill somebody. It's just dark humor. I know that some people don't like dark humor, and they've actually kind of done something so that people can't put it out as much as they used to in the past. So Vegan Gains has actually privatized a lot of his videos, not because he doesn't stand for that type of humor anymore, but it's because it's not allowed on YouTube. For some reason people are allowed to repost it, but yeah, sure, that is also to do with freedom of speech. But again, he's not actually going to kill anyone.
I don't know how I could possibly be labeled as a fucking hypocrite. I never said I liked people. I hate people. Some people say they hate people, but I really, really hate people.
This is something Vegan Gains has also talked about, where he actually has social anxiety and he actually doesn't like people. There's nothing wrong with this. Just because he feels this way doesn't mean that he's actually going to hurt anyone. But for some reason people just keep bringing these things up from like way in the past.
I fucking hate children. They literally make me sick. When I see babies in a commercial, I start to gag and almost throw up, and I have to look away and mute it. And when I see babies in a stroller, especially when they're crying, I just want to put my foot through the fucking thing and step on it until it's nothing but blood and pulp on the fucking pavement!
Yeah, well, that baby stomach thing was one thing that he said in the past that I also think is a little bit over the top. But keep in mind, this was also dark humor. For some people took him quite serious, although it was an obvious joke. Some people aren't really that good at reading people, obviously. But I can assure you, I have seen him actually angry, especially in debates with total morons. He's nothing like that when he's actually angry. So obviously Richard has said something that is a little bit over the top, or a little bit more than over the top. But honestly, he has miled up during the years. He isn't that bad anymore, and now all of a sudden, there seems to be an insane amount of people who want him deleted from YouTube. And why is this coming now? Why didn't this huge movement come when he was actually acting like a psychopath on YouTube? Well, I think it has to do with who is being criticized. And especially when somebody people liked, well, had a huge following and might have a few contacts and such, died, and he makes fun of that. I think that is the entire reason. It's because he said something bad about somebody who actually had a lot of power originally. But despite the fact that my video was being very neutral in its way that it was formed, I still got a lot of hate comments and really irrational things, so let's look at a little bit of that. I'm not going to do it like Richard and make those mentally disabled sounds when I'm talking, so... Well, I don't actually know where people are from, so I'm just going to assume their accents.
When you bask in the joy of a man who has just died and wishes children the same, you get what's coming for you.
Oh yeah, you mean valid criticism, right?
God, maybe he can clean toilets for a living. Hate when this guy brags about how much money he has earned, but rents in a tiny apartment that looks like crackheads has lived in as it's a little mess as.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really bad at cleaning, why would you get a big house?
Good reticence. He adds zero value to society.
When I first figured out about vegan gains, I was only vegetarian. I'd seen Cowspiracy, I'd seen the Gary Yourofsky speech. The thing that made me change was the aggressive act of vegan gains actually telling me that I'm basically a bad person for hurting animals when I don't need to. And at that time, I couldn't just buy a frozen pizza at a store. I had to make everything on my own. But because he told me that I was a bad person, I actually took the step of going vegan right there and then. So obviously he brings value to society. I guess everything is done in combination is actually increased utility.
Dude basically wish death on kid who that just died. He deserve all of this.
Again, valid criticism, how democracy works? Or do you want to adopt a more like Chinese system?
What really happened? YouTube took a look at his PP on his OnlyFans and realized they had to get rid of him completely.
Well, surely the penis envy is real. But honestly, OnlyFans is actually a great tool for people who actually want to sell their body. Unlike the porn industry, where you have a lot of people who are there unwillingly because they would otherwise be broke, for example. It's just strange to me. And yes, I know that they regretted and they redid the policy, so it's now allowed to do porn on OnlyFans again.
Oruza Pedzu, he takes to maintain muscle while being on a soy. Sha is getting to his brain.
I'm sure you mean soy boy and not soy. Well, supplements doesn't hurt you particularly. And soy hasn't been proved to be feminized. There's only been 2 cases in literal in total where that has had any feminizing effect. So no, there are only people on the far right who make up these soy boy comments ever.
You sound like you're tired. Please look after yourself better.
Thank you so much for that. I'm actually really tired. I've been moving house and my ex-stepfather just died. So there has been a lot of things that has affected me greatly. So yeah, thank you for caring about my health.
Haha, taken down. No more vegan stains.
You look very vegan.
You mean normal?
Cringe.
That expression is a little bit outdated, isn't it? How bad are people at making insults? If you maybe make fun of my eyesight or my attendance issues, meaning that I got really frail arms, for example, maybe pointing out that I'm a Forrest Finn or demisexual or an autist and make fun of those things, like things that are factually true so that it would actually hurt my feelings, just a suggestion. But I remember the days when small YouTubers also got a lot of comments, but today that doesn't happen so much, but I still see some common grounds, but something that I tend to miss, like where is the gay shaming and the death threats, because I don't see them around. But most of the time, people have misrepresented what Vegan Gains has actually said. So when people go and say, you know what, Vegan Gains? He told me that, oh, because you eat meat, I'm going to kill you. When that is a straw man of what he's actually saying. What he's actually saying is something, okay, you are paying for somebody else to slit an animal's throat open. What would you feel if I did the same thing to you? Do you see a meaningful difference there? I feel as people are just trying to make this red herring to move away from the actual argument that is being made by Vegan Gains. Just listen to this.
I'm not easily intimidated, and nothing you can do to me is worse than the suffering and death of the animals you eat. So you can make all of the legal threats you want. Nothing is going to stop me from defending the animals that you harm, and nothing is going to stop me from speaking the truth that animal products are not only insanely cruel, but also incredibly unhealthy and unsustainable. So, have a nice fucking day. Hopefully some of you can make some vegan gains.
I feel like most of you are just creating this red herring to move away from the point that Vegan Gains was actually trying to make, which is fish do actually feel pain. So whenever they get a hook through the mouth, they feel pain. And those people killing those fish, well, fish are sentient beings who can experience suffering, well-being, has the will to live, and you're just taking away everything they have. Why don't you want to focus on that point? The only thing that I can think of that you might come up with as a response to this is a societal norm, but using that as an argument is an appeal to tradition fallacy. Animal production is the cruelest thing in the world, and if you're supporting this industry by buying those products, you are way worse than Vegan Gains. Far beyond. And only societal norms are the difference. The entire death, exploitation, murder, and pain that these animals have to go through for you to have a steak, a sandwich, some chicken wings, or whatever, is basically not an excuse. Like, you are paying for this, and you're being this awful people, but for that reason I don't want to silence you or have you deplatformed by that reason. That would be unfair of me. And before anyone starts saying, oh, but all of these insects dying because of the production of the plant food. Well, yeah, sure, if we have a way to more effectively produce crops so that animals would not have to die in that production in an effective way, then sure, I will be all for it. But keep in mind, the animal feed that is produced, insects also die. So more death exploitation of animals would happen in animal farming anyways. It's not only Vegan Gains. Some person has said that, oh, in our community we're going to start adding you on the list of people who should have their channel deleted or something like that. So there's an actual community trying to destroy Vegan Gains right now. This is insane. So although I don't agree with everything Vegan Gains has said, I'm on his side. And you know what? Since all of you are trying to cancel all people and deny us our freedoms, I'm just going to violate your freedoms. So imagine this being your head. And if you don't stop, I'm just going to start to carve out a nice little hole in your face till there's nothing left but blood and brain matter all over the floor. Ah! I got all this attention because of a video that I made that was neutral, and people thumbs down it to above 100, and I got like 2,000 views in a very short period of time. I still have gotten some subscribers as well, but if I don't get 10 times the attention from this video, then I know that this movement is nonsense and I can't really take it seriously. But now at least you have heard my take on it, and I hope for a little bit more civilized discussion in the future.